We'll switch gears here. Bob Long and Will Ryan on the Philadelphia Catholic League preview show. Next up is the second first-round game. 7 versus 10, Cardinal O'Hara taking on Bonner-Prendie. This is a huge rivalry in Delaware County. It takes 12 minutes to get from one school to the other, as you'll hear both coaches mention over the course of their interviews. They expect a packed house at Cardinal O'Hara, one of the best facilities, if not the best facility in the Philadelphia Catholic League, a capacity of 2,400 fans, and they expect every ticket to be sold. And to get us started and get us ready for this matchup, let's hear from the head of the Lions, Ryan Nemitz. Nemitz is our guest on the Philadelphia Catholic League playoff preview show. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. And first and foremost, congratulations on a wonderful season to this point.
Hey, good afternoon, and thanks for covering the teams in the league. I'm happy to be here.
Good. Thrilled to have you. So let's talk about, you guys have a very interesting and fun roster and style of play. Isaiah Pasha kind of leads the way, but really Flash Burton, Kalangis, you have guards and wings that can really impact the game in a variety of ways. What do you see as the man standing on the bench there, hurting and being the guy to lead these young men?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that our mantra here going into the playoffs is sticking together, especially when adversity hits, when maybe you're not going on a run, not hitting shots, not getting stopped, sticking together. And then the second mantra that we got going into the playoffs here is defense. Those are the two areas where I think if we could lock into, we could do something special. We've been, I think, up double digits in 4 of our 5 losses. Ryan was the one team that did kick our butts, but we had double-digit leads that I think for whatever reason in the second half, we stopped playing defense. We turned it over, but we didn't stick together as a unit. So if we could do that, I think we'll see what happens here over the next 2 weeks.
It's a big rivalry game for you this Wednesday night in the 7-10 matchup. Bonner-Prendie. We were talking to Billy, and it either would have aired just before or just after your interview here, depending upon where it is on the live show. But Billy said, hey, it's like a 12-minute drive from Bonner to O'Hara, and that's a meaningful rivalry. Could you speak to that in your early years here with the program?
My assistant, Pat Flanagan, he said it, a joke. He said, if you had Bonner versus O'Hara playing like a checkers game or a chess game, that the whole gym would be filled to watch it just because the rivalry goes so back. Everybody's invested in the neighborhood. And we had the same path to the Palestra as last year, exactly as last year. If we play Bonner at home, if we win, we play at Roman. So to have that back-to-back years, I know it was sold out last year. It was a wild environment. It's fun, and it's fun for just the communities, right? Everybody in the area knows about the schools, has some connection, whether they went there or know a family member. So it's cool to see that in this matchup.
That's great. And speaking of venues and selling out those venues, what a facility, what an asset to your program you have in Springfield, Delaware County. Just a tremendous basketball gym, large capacity. It gets loud. It's a great spot where the PIAA will host a lot of state playoff games because of its capacity, its parking situation. It's just a nice, clean facility. What's it like to coach and practice there every single day?
Yeah, you know what? I like when the games aren't as crowded because my voice carries more and I can help the guys out. So when it gets really loud, you're kind of helpless as a coach. So you're kind of screaming and yelling, and you just hope the guys remember what you taught them, and just remind them when you have the opportunity to, in timeouts or during dead ball situations, like just quick reminders to settle them into the game plan and how to execute it. But it is special when I think it seats 2,400 people at capacity. And it's awesome to see that. I think it's one of the best gyms, and it's cool for the kids. The kids are going to remember that for the rest of their lives, playing in front of that many people. So it's special in that regard as well.
That's great. And you talked about earlier closing out games and the fact that you've led by double digits in all but one of your league losses. Candidly, I didn't know that. That stat caught me by surprise, but is very impressive. What are the main lessons you learned from those games that you led and then lost, and how do you think that carries here in the in the year's most important moments.
Don't dribble through double teams is what I hope our guys learned.
I-
No, I think going back earlier, I would just say like that togetherness, that toughness. When things aren't going right, actually, when things are going right, it's easy, right? Everybody's happy, the energy's there. When things aren't going right is when true character shows. Are you guys going to stick together? Are you guys going to put a little bit extra effort to make a play? Or are you just going to be wide-eyed, shell-shocked, and just let somebody like just go on a run? So I think sticking together, I think our guys are learning that. And that St. Joe's Prep win yesterday, fourth quarter was a microcosm of our season. We had the lead pretty much the whole game. In the fourth quarter, they start off in a 13. I think it was one run. They go up. I think it was 5. I don't remember, but they went up. And then we closed the game on I think it was a 14-1 run. So like that fourth quarter was a microcosm of just sticking together, which we're going to need.
That is a game I wanted to pick your brain on as well, because now I believe you guys were locked into the 7 seed entering that day. Well, not necessarily.
We
If
went to the 8.
Carroll had up, yeah, if Carroll had upset Roman Catholic and you guys had lost, you could have dropped.
Yeah.
But it would have taken a tough set of circumstances with the way Roman was coming off a loss.
Yeah.
Tough to beat them on a day like that. St. Joe's Prep had everything to play for. Chance to establish a home playoff game, a chance to establish basically the advantage for that second 6A spot over Archbishop Wood through the regular season. And it was you guys that had at the end, you guys that won the basketball game, 2 phenomenal teams, both of which can go win the whole thing here in the Catholic League. But you kind of talked about the microcosm of the season, but what specifically that you saw in your guys impressed you in the final 8 minutes?
I feel like I'm repeating, but like just when adversity hit, they stuck together. They're muddling up. I think the other thing was we started to we talked about getting stops. They had missed a couple open shots, but we did a good job of forcing them to kind of speed up instead of being comfortable and let them execute and play through Tristan, who's gotten very good. He's taken a big jump this year. I'm very impressed with him and that whole team, St. Joe's Prep. He's doing a good job with them. But yeah, getting some stops. We got some easy buckets. So just closing out the game, that fourth quarter sometimes is just a different animal. You'll see teams score 25, 28 points in the fourth quarter after only scoring maybe 30 the first 3. It's just the teams who can navigate those fourth quarter, those big moments. That's who's going to be winning the championship in the PCL at the end of the day.
We've seen you guys be very impressive offensively.
Yeah.
You scheduled an out-of-conference game on the road at Reading. First off, Geigel, what a place to play.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal place. But what makes Cardinal O'Hara so difficult to guard?
You know what? We have very good guard play with Isaiah's scoring ability and playmaking ability. He's one of the toughest matchups. And then Flash, when he's on, he has such a great feel for the game where he's able to score and he's shooting the 3 better. And then Josh Kalanges as that third guy, he kind of told him like, hey, have more of a scoring role. And he's been hitting some big shots for us and usually gets like the best of the least focused on defensively. He's not on the scout, right? Mm-hmm. So he's able to kind of step up and give us what we need. And then Pierce McGinn, I think he's one guy. I hope he makes all Catholic because he deserves it. But he's having a heck of a year. He's not really a big, but he's guarding like the Tristan Sorbers of the world. And I think he might lead the league in blocks. The kid is like low-key, like one of the best defenders. But he helps us stretch the floor, and he does a good job playing around the rim to balance our offense. And then Christian Chevarello, when he's on shooting the ball, he gives us a ton of floor spacing to let the guards operate and maneuver. And then our bench has been stepping up and playing key roles for us sometimes. So I think that's what makes us tough is our guard play, our ability to shoot the ball and space the floor, play with pace. But it all starts at the end of the day with the defense. When we get stops, we could play fast. If we're not getting stops, it slows us down a little bit. But yeah, that's what I think. That's
great. Well, hey, I appreciate the time to do this. That 7-10 game against Bonner will be an absolute war. I know it. And you and Billy on the opposing sidelines will be just a blast to watch. And the winner of that game, you guys would get Roman.
Yeah.
they would get Newman based upon the seeds and the reseeding from the first round to the quarterfinals. But I can't wait, Ryan, and I really appreciate the time you took with us here to help showcase your athletes and get us ready for playoff time.
Hey, Bob, thanks for the coverage. I know the families, the kids, the communities, everybody appreciates what you guys do for them. So appreciate the coverage, and hopefully 2 weeks from now we'll be winning the championship. Time will tell.
Hey, listen, hope to see you down there at the Palestra. Absolutely,
Yes,
my man.
definitely.
Good luck. Thanks so much to Ryan Nemitz for his time. Cardinal O'Hara, boys basketball head coach, thought he did a great job, Will, and doing a better job with his team this year. Isaiah Pasha, we know what he can do. Flash Burton is a rock star, but Kalangis is great. Pierce McGinn has had an excellent year, and he talked a lot about those guys. But another team that can space the floor really well, and when they're hitting shots consistently and creating those rhythm threes, this is another team that can beat anyone in the league, particularly the way they beat St. Joe's Prep on the last day of the regular season. It didn't necessarily affect their seeding. They were locked in so long as they didn't lose and Carroll didn't beat Roman Catholic on the last day of the season. But they knew they were hosting a first-round game, and yet it was Cardinal O'Hara that made the winning plays down the stretch. They jumped out to the lead. St. Joe's Prep made the run, and the Lions make the winning plays.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And something that will be a key for Cardinal O'Hara in this matchup with Bonner-Prendie was also a key in their previous matchup with Bonner. Excuse me. They ended up winning that game 79-60 in a bit of a blowout fashion. But it was the supporting cast. It wasn't Isaiah Pasha.
Yeah.
They had 4 guys in double figures that game. Isaiah Pasha was just 3 for 10 from the field. It was Pierce McGinn, 28 points. They have that ability, a Flash Burton, a Pierce McGinn, a Josh Kalangis. They have the ability to really support Isaiah Pasha, and that's why they're so dangerous.
I think so. And Cardinal O'Hara, for me, has been one of those teams that when I say 8, 9, 10 teams can go to the Palestra, this is one of those teams that if I'm Newman Goretti or a Roman Catholic, and it would be assuredly Roman Catholic if they won, yeah, I wouldn't want to see them. I mean, respect everyone, fear nobody, of course, but this is one of those teams that if they get the shot to go to the Palestra or get the shot to go to the States at the 4A level, that's a team that can go win a state championship, and I wouldn't be one bit surprised. The other thing of note is Archbishop Carroll and Cardinal O'Hara, while not playing each other in the first round, it's really important for those two teams because they're going to be the second team out of 4A. One of those two teams will not go to the States, and one of the teams will. Newman Goretti, by virtue of their regular season record, cannot be topped, even if one of those teams goes all the way to the Catholic League final, right? Or if both of them were to go to the final, one of them wins and gets the auto bid, the other would still not have enough points to pass Newman Goretti. So Newman is in. Only one of those two teams, Carroll, O'Hara, can make it. Cardinal O'Hara has a 10-point lead, which is based upon the one regular season win. Regular season win counts for 10 points. And the head-to-head resides with Cardinal O'Hara as well. So a first-round playoff game, 7-10, 8-9, earns a team 10 points. If Bonner-Prendie beats Cardinal O'Hara and then Archbishop Carroll beats Father Judge, that would put them in a tie at that point, and the head-to-head would still reside with Cardinal O'Hara. If both teams win their first-round playoff game, get the 10 points, Cardinal O'Hara still has the 10-point advantage. But if Archbishop Carroll wins a quarterfinal game and goes to the Palestra, which would be, in that case, against Newman Goretti, and if Cardinal O'Hara would lose to Roman Catholic, Archbishop Carroll would get 15 points as a result of that win, and that would be enough to push the Patriots to the States. So for Archbishop Carroll, the job is clear, win 2 games. For Cardinal O'Hara, the job is clear, at least from a state standpoint. Just don't let Carroll get to the Palestra, or don't let Carroll advance much further than the Lions do in the Catholic League playoffs. But again, we're here to talk about the Catholic League games, although that's always looming. Your thoughts on a key for Cardinal O'Hara to go win this basketball game?
Yeah, it's going to be Pierce McGinn. Isaiah Pasha, he's a very consistent player. He's going to give you anywhere from like that 11 to 20 range. He's going to pass the ball well. He's going to, be your pseudo point guard at times. And he's a great rebounder as well. He's a great leader. When you talk to coaches around the league, the way that he huddles his teammates together, the way that he picks them up, it's admirable. So Isaiah Pasha, you're not too worried about how he's going to play because he's a generally consistent player. If Pierce McGinn is knocking down threes, he's so dangerous because he's such a great post player as well. So, my, I guess, key to the game is a big game for Pierce McGinn. We saw it last time they matched up. If we see it again, I think it's going to be the same result.
Looking forward to this one. And the other coach on this matchup is going to be Billy Cassidy from Bonner-Prendie. He is a first-year head coach. It was a struggle early for this team, but as we'll talk about, the schedule was highly backloaded. So the Conwell Egan, the Lansdale Catholic, and the Devon Prep matchup were 3 consecutive games with Father Judge as the last game of the season. But as they entered the final 2 weeks of the regular season, the job was clear. Beat Conwell Egan, beat Lansdale Catholic, and be forced with a win or go home game against Devon Prep, a game that Bonner-Prendie pulled out at home in Drexel Hill. What a game it was, and what a story this has been. 3 of the last 4 for a team that struggled early on. And here's our guest, Billy Cassidy. Billy Cassidy, our next guest here on the PCL preview show on Bob Long Sports. Billy, so good to have you. First year man at Bonner-Prendie. How has the transition gone for you thus far?
It's going well. We were just able to sneak into the playoffs this past weekend, which, was a huge accomplishment for our team. Obviously, we finished last spot, but, as long as you're in, that's the most important thing at this point. So we're definitely, very happy with how we finished the season.
It's been a consistent message we've been talking about on the show and leading up to it that there really are 10 teams. Honestly, probably even 11 with the way Devon Prep was playing all year and just tough to finish games that had a shot and have a shot realistically to go to the Palestra. And we truly believe that. And you guys coming in as strong as you are late in the season, your schedule was a little front loaded in that you guys had to take on some of the league's best in the first few weekends. And then at the end of the schedule, you had the opportunities against Conwell Egan, Lansdale Catholic, the huge win on Friday night against Devon Prep. But what was that like for you guys as you maneuvered the early part of that schedule, that murderer's row?
Well, yeah, we talked about it. I've warned them, exactly what was, ahead of us. And just letting them know that, we're going to hit our bumps. And it may be, longer than we want, but, at the end of the day, we just got to keep getting better, stay focused and stay together. And then, it worked out for us in the sense of we were able to rattle off a few at the end and, got a little bit of luck from other teams, not catching anybody off guard where, we were still able to have a chance.
That's great. And the game itself on Friday, Devon Prep and, of course, your Friars from Bonner-Prendie. I'm sure everyone knew going into that game that it was winner moves on and loser does not qualify for the playoffs. What was that atmosphere like, and what was that experience like for your young men?
Well, we had a great 2 days of preparation leading up to that game. Our kids were excited. They were ready to go. We've struggled at home in the Catholic League. So, we treated it as, it was a statement game for our guys. But we knew it was going to be tough, so we expected it to be that type of game. And, we're just happy we came out on top.
You guys have some new names on the team this year, a couple of guys that have returned from last year's roster. Of course, you yourself are new. So what stuck out to you? Who's really taken on that leadership role, and how have those newcomers meshed with the old guard, if you will?
Yeah, the 2 main players who've had PCL experience were, Brady Egan and then Deuce Kettner. So they got a little bit of a taste of it last season. But then with, Reggie Selden Kevin Rucker, Nelson Lamazana, even Jamal Hicks, and then a couple other reserves, Tommy Vendetti. We've talked about it all throughout the summer and fall of just, how tough this league is, top to bottom. And, you're really going to have to work for it every single day. And it's going to be, 10 times harder in the game. So just getting that message across to each of our kids and, letting them know that adversity is going to hit, but, you got to be willing to push through it and stay the course.
And when you talk about being a first-year head coach and bringing that talent in and developing that existing talent, I know that getting to the playoffs is great for this year, and hopefully your guys have a run into them. But the Billy Cassidy era at Bonner-Prendie, I'm sure you're just laying the bricks and laying that foundation for what you expect and hope to accomplish in years to come. What does success look like for you and your tenure at Bonner as you look out, call it 3-5 years?
We just want the program to just keep growing and, grow with our kids on and off the court. At the same time, everybody wants to win, but, at the end of the day, you got to be willing to, have the right attitude every single day, have the right approach from a teammate perspective, and then individually, you got to be willing to outwork, the competition. So, just instilling those type of traits into our guys, is definitely the most important thing if you want to win. So that's pretty much what we're trying to do.
That's great. And of course, wanting to win is what you're looking at on Wednesday night, the 7-10 play-in game. And you guys travel to Cardinal, O'Hara, which is a nice regional, local rivalry there as well. There's a lot of talent on your club. There's a lot of talent at O'Hara. There's a lot of talent all across the Catholic League this year. But what stands out to you about the Lions, and what's one key you guys are looking at as you prepare for the matchup on Wednesday night?
I mean, Ryan's done a good job in that program. They just beat, a really good St. Joe's prep team yesterday. They have 4, outstanding players on that team that can all, facilitate the ball, score the ball, put the ball on the ground. So we know it's going to be a tough task, but at the end of the day, we feel, with 2 days of preparation going into this game that, we just got to worry about ourselves and, give it our best shot. And, I think we can compete with anybody. So we're looking forward to the challenge for sure.
Yeah, without looking up and down the entire league, I don't think there are many teams that can boast that they've won 3 of their last 4. That's something that you guys can do, and that's something that you guys can say. And I'm sure that helps with that confidence boost that, hey, Bonner's best basketball has been played at the end of the year exactly when you want to be playing your best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the next 2 days we need to be locked in at practice, figure out the game plan, and just, let loose Wednesday night, play free. And, at the end of the day, try to do everything we can to get that win.
Well, we'll be watching along the way. We really appreciate you taking the time. And my colleague, Will Ryan, has asked some of the other coaches this question, so I'll get you out of here on this one. What would be your message to the Bonner-Prendie student base, the alumni base? It's not a long drive to get to Cardinal, O'Hara. What do you expect on Wednesday from a fan support standpoint?
Oh, it's a 12-minute drive, so, it's a rival. That place is going to be, sold out for sure. They got the best gym around. There's nothing like Cardinal O'Hara's gym when it's sold out. So, we're expecting all of our alumni, student body to be there. And we know they're going to have theirs. So it's going to be a fun atmosphere. I can't wait. But at the end of the day, I'm worried about my guys and the game. So I could, care less really about the crowd and all that stuff.
Yep, you're locked in. I love it. Billy, thank you for the time. Best of luck to your guys. And we'll be keeping tabs on you guys the rest of the way.
Appreciate what you do, man. Thank you.